Hey there, CPO here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about ball links. This is important because in the last video that I made showing the completion of the head build, where I actually install ball links from the swash up to these blade grips, somebody had sent me a private message, and it's Ahamay75. I think that's how you say it. It's AHAMAY75. He's out of Australia. He sent me a private message from a YouTube video basically saying, hey, I noticed when you installed the ball links, you might have put them on backwards, and explained to me that they are directional. And I was like, okay, yeah, totally, show me what I'm doing wrong. And he was very nice to explain it to me. And I find it interesting that the manual, again, this is one of those issues the manual is silent on. So I'm going to share it with you just so you can really get a sense for what I'm talking about here. And I'll show you exactly what the issue is. So on these ball links, when they click onto the ball, they have a outside and an inside. The inside goes in towards the ball connection point, whether that be towards the blade grip up here or towards the swash down here on these swash balls. So the outside is what points out from the ball, and there is a direction to these little black end links that they go on one way. And sure enough, when I was informed that they might have been on wrong, I actually found two of them that I had put on backwards, and that's because I didn't know there was a direction. So I'm just watching people on videos snap these things on and snap them off, and I had no idea that there was a right way and a wrong way to do that. So I want to make sure I address that. So looking at the manual, as I said, the manual is silent on these issues. It doesn't talk anything anywhere about a direction on the ball links. Now this is the Taro manual, and I'm going to give you a little bit more room here. There's nothing in here that talks about it. So I started looking at other manuals, and actually Ahamay75, he told me that he found it, a reference to it in an older line Pro manual, I believe, the 450 Pro. This is a version 2 Align manual, same as the Taro manual as far as not addressing it. However, they do one thing that the Taro manual does not seem to do, and that is there's an indicator of an A on the outside of this. And that's what we're looking for, and that's really what the information I want to make sure that you have is on these ball links, particularly the Align and Line clones, have an A or some sort of lettering on the outside of the ball link. That's the outside. Now my ball links actually have the same thing. I'm going to see how close we can get here. That has a number. So I don't know if you can see this at all. That has an A on the one side. The other side of these are the Taro ones, they have a number. I don't know if the number has any significance or not. They're kind of seem random. I've got like 5s and 2s and 7s. They're all the same size. They all come out of the same package. But the key on these is to look for that little A, which hopefully you can see it right there. That A designates that's the outside of the link. And again, on the Taro manual or on the Align manual, the A is actually shown on the link end. Although the manual doesn't say what to do with the A, you got to be pretty observant to notice that or even recognize it has any importance. Now I pulled out an older manual or not an older manual, a manual from a different heli, and this was, I believe, the 450 Pro, and this one actually says words face outside and points to that ball link. So that gives you a good clue. That's probably the best clue I've seen. But again, my manual doesn't say it, and nor does the Align manual. And one thing I want to note here too is if you're just depending on the picture, you can be misled, because I've seen in the same Align manual for the 450 Pro V2 that has the A on there. Here's another picture later on in the manual, this is page 13, that has the A on it, but it's facing inside. So on the top one, and the bottom one is facing outside. So it's basically in the manual installed incorrectly, according to everything I can figure out. So the A goes out and not in. So even the manual's misleading. So hence the video. I was confused. Somebody set me straight. I want to make sure that you guys are aware what's going on. Now on the on this in link, there's actually, the reason that it's directional is that one side, the inner diameter, the inside, the inner diameter is wider than on the other side. The side with the A is the narrower diameter. I'm trying to figure out how best to represent this to you. It's very subtle, very hard to see, but basically it's going to clip onto the ball, and you need the wider piece to go around the ball and the narrower piece to kind of capture it, the smaller diameter of the outside of the ball. So what's the risk in putting it on backwards? Well, I put mine on backwards, and then I took them off, and everything seems to be okay. The question is there anything that I don't see? Now, there are people that will tell you, oh, well, if the risk of putting it on wrong is you're going to crack it. It'll put too much stress on it, and it'll crack it. Mine didn't crack. Should I be concerned? I don't know, but I am. So rather than taking a risk of having done something by stretching out the one side too much or having it aligned wrong, no pun intended on the align there, I just went out and picked up another bag of these guys. This is what, 3, 6, 9, looks like 12 of them. I paid $4 at the local hobby store. So again, donating my money to the local hobby store. I'm gonna eat the money to fix this and do it right, because number one, I'll probably, the first time I crash, I'll probably need these guys anyway. But number two, I want to do this right, and I don't want to take any silly chances, especially if I know something is potentially wrong. I mean, this is a pretty important part of the helicopter. We're dealing with blade pitch here. So these are my very first ball links to have to install. But by golly, if these don't work right, then I'm set up for failure from the start. So I'm not going to bore you with going through and changing these out on camera. Just know that I'm going to change them out. I'm going to put some of these brand new line ones on that I just got to replace them. I'm still going to use the rest of the Taro ones in the kit because they're just fine. They should be the same specifications as the Align ones. I just want to make sure that I do it right. So that's it. Again, thanks, AHA May 75. I hope I'm saying that right. Out of Australia. This is so cool. I'll give you something to look at here while I talk, because I don't want you to just have to look at a white screen there. So this is pretty cool. I mean, the internet has changed everything. I can only imagine what it would be like to be in this hobby without the internet. It surprises me that it would even exist. The ability to get information, access to information so readily, and to share information so readily is phenomenal. And the fact that I can put together a head assembly in my home in the United States, and within a couple of days, I have somebody from Australia giving me a pointer on how I might have done something wrong and how to fix it. That is cool. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm totally psyched about just that connectivity that the internet brings, and I just don't know how I survived without it. So again, thank you. Thanks, Finless Bob, if you see this. I don't know if you'll ever look at my videos or not, for sharing this ball link information in your video before. Sorry I didn't see it. The other problem with the internet, as I mentioned before, is information overload. So if you don't know what you're looking for exactly or where to find it, sometimes it's hard to find. So I'm putting this out there, hoping that it's helpful for somebody else. Catch you on the next video. Thanks.